Welcome, everyone, to episode 46 of the Golden Squeeze podcast, the Chris Cooley episode. Did you miss us? We had been away for a little bit. I was having technical difficulties, needed a new computer, and I'm pretty lazy. So it took me a little bit of time, but now we are back and we are ready to take 2025 head on.
Let's do it.
We have missed a lot since episode 45, so we're not going to rehash anything because I'm sure that you all have been watching wrestling. So we're going to jump right into Tiffy time.
Oh, yes.
Because we have something that young Wade has been waiting for months. Something that he's been predicting for probably almost a year. Tiffany Stratton is your new women's champion on SmackDown. What's that belt called? What is that? The women's
the SmackDown Women's World Championship.
What do they call that here? Well, the
SmackDown Women's
Liv had the Women's World Championship.
Oh, I thought hers was the Raw Women's Championship.
I think it was the Women's Championship. I think that Tiffy might have won the Women's Universal title. She might have.
Okay.
I don't know what she won, but you know what? She won something. She's got a strap, and the one thing I can almost guarantee you is that when we see her again on Thursday, that strap will not be the same color as it was on Friday. Time to get her that pink title. Let's see that pink bad boy.
I'm wondering, do you think the pink butterfly is coming back?
No, they're not going to do that. I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's just going to be pink strap. Because that's the Divas title, and they're trying to get away from they've been distancing themselves from the Divas label for years. And that butterfly is synonymous with the Divas, and they hate that now.
But it fits in the context of the colors and some of the stuff.
But it doesn't fit with women's empowerment, Wade.
Yeah,
women.
They'll come up with something good. I swear, though, every time she does that moonsault, I just freeze, hoping she's not going to slip.
She's not going to slip. She's an athlete.
Oh,
she isn't. She is
all
an
athletes,
athlete. They're not all athletes. The person that she won the title from is far from an athlete.
I don't agree with that.
You don't need to agree. It's just true. But you never know, because I saw somebody on Raw, and we'll get to Raw in a second. I hadn't seen a Bella in years, I felt like. And we saw Nikki. She's looking good. Hadn't seen her in a while. Happy to see her. Saw her at Raw.
They they had like a falling out with the company because something happened and they didn't and wasn't it
they changed their names too. They're not the Bellas anymore. I think they went back to their actual names, like the Martinezes or something. I don't know, but yeah.
But something happened with a fallout. I don't think they got invited to some one of the big episodes of Raw or something, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. But didn't that all happen when Vince McMahon was still?
Yes.
Okay, and I was actually surprised that it took that long, at least for Nikki to make an appearance. I mean, I know. You know, Bree's husband's obviously in another company now, and they've got kids and all that. You know, so I was more so surprised it took this long, because just seeing some of the people who've come back around since the regime changed over. But as I could not wait to tell my wife, hey, check this out. John Cena was there, and I
was thinking the same thing.
Divorced Nikki Bella was there.
But John's married now. I believe.
Well, crap. That makes my gossip news that less interesting.
But we also know that boys will be boys, so you never know. You never know what's going to happen on an episode of WWE. But going back to Tiffany Stratton, Bianca looked a little bit different in this episode of SmackDown. She didn't have her signature braid. That's part of her brand. Her theme song starts with whipping noises. So we'll see what happens in future episodes of wrestling. And whether or not her braid comes back, because I don't believe while I believe that her braid is her hair, I don't think that it's her hair. I think that she took her hair, made a braid with it, and she has a weave that puts it in. So I don't think that it's actually attached to her scalp.
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
When my kids ask me, I just say, I don't know. Don't
know, but good for Tiffany, and the way they did it, I enjoyed it, because she came out like she wasn't going to attack Nia. and then she had the cash in where she inexplicably just threw the ref. Well, not inexplicably. She didn't want Nia, I guess, to see the ref, so she threw him into the barricade, and then she got the same ref back. Was just completely disregarded the fact that he was abused by Tiffany Stratton. Was like, all right, I'll still help you, even though you just threw me and I was unconscious for 2 minutes. It was good though. It was good.
And I liked how they did the bait and switch where she got Naomi thinking she was gonna, was helping out, and then she double crossed Nia. But then the interesting thing was how she, self preservation got Bianca out of there too.
Oh yeah.
But that leaves the door open, and this is what I like about how it's been since the new regime. Like, there's so many things that happen, it just leaves you guessing and wondering. It's like, okay, so yes, she double crossed Nia, but that doesn't necessarily automatically make her a baby face because Nia was treating her like crap.
Yeah.
And
yes, but you don't treat heels like crap.
Well, but the fact that she did that to Bianca and they included Bianca, kind of leaves it kind of open ended of where she's going in terms of feuds. And I know every prediction video we have made, I have guessed a Tiffany Stratton cash in. But so hey, it finally happened. We knew that was going to happen, but something I'm sticking to, and I just don't see a world where it's not her versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. That's the money match, in my opinion.
When Charlotte coming back? The Rumble?
Apparently, everything I've read is she is ready now. It's just a matter of when. There was some speculation, and maybe even last night, but I think they said the same thing about Becky Lynch, and she wasn't there either. But
so we're missing Charlotte. We're missing Becky. We're missing Alexa Bliss. We're missing.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Oh, that was beautiful.
We're missing Carmella. I miss Carmella. We're missing some heavy hitters in the WWE on the women's division. They need it too, because I'm tired of some of these feuds. I don't need to see some of these feuds. I need some of these heavy hitters to come back.
I am really, really excited for this women's Royal Rumble. There's endless amounts of possibilities, and we'll touch on that later because I've got more thoughts on that. But everything I've been reading is saying when Charlotte comes back, it's going to be like this darker version of like this more like darker queen version of the character, like basically a heel Charlotte Flair, which, Tiffy has been getting babyface reactions. So, that would go good. That would be a smooth transition into that. But again, just with the Bianca wrinkle in there, it kind of leaves it open ended. But I love that. Obviously, there's going to be a match with her and Nia, which I'm assuming is going to be at the Rumble. I would imagine, and because they've got 3 weeks to build to that.
Yeah,
and I mean that's been boiling for months, and so they've got to. Well, I say that. I mean they've been having big matches on free television, but I mean I think
matches on free television. She cashed in on SmackDown. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, but that was but again, I mean not again. I don't know why I said but again. I scratch that. Anyways, but that was also the last SmackDown of the year before the huge episode of Raw. So in that sense, to me, when it happened, I was like, that was kind of surprising. I was like, the announcers were definitely making a big deal about it being the last SmackDown of the year.
Yeah.
And
wasn't it not the last? Wasn't it the first SmackDown of the year?
No, last Friday was
January 3rd.
Was it? Okay, maybe it was the first SmackDown of the year. Then I'm sorry, but it was the first one on the 3-hour format, I believe. Yeah. And okay, how that was not the main event is beyond me.
Yeah,
because in the context of what ended up happening on Monday night, the Bloodline beating, or the new Bloodline beating the Usos and Sami Zayn, how that got top billing over the women's championship and the cash in, that I don't know if that was just so it wasn't going to be so obvious, but I didn't understand that at all. Like the match placement, that was odd. That was very odd.
The triple threat match didn't, or I'm sorry, the women's match did not do anything to further anything that was going to be happening on Raw.
But I don't even think Roman came out. So that didn't
really... but everybody that interfered in that match on Raw was pretty much in that match.
Yeah, but also I think from what
I agree with you, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate and try to justify their decision.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just very surprised, especially the way they've been putting more of an emphasis on, women's wrestling as a whole, and then the fact of, hey, you've got a championship match on free TV, and then it's going to be the cash in. I think that would have been the perfect way to end that show. But again, playing to your point, unless they wanted the show to end with people thinking, oh, well, maybe they'll have Solo win.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, did you see the cash in coming? Let me start there. That's question number one of a two-part question.
Did I see it being teased? Yes, because they've been teasing it. It got to the point it was getting a little absurd, the amount of times they were teasing it.
You knew the match was coming up. Did you think that did you think that January 3rd was going to be the day?
No, and then especially when it was not the main event, I thought there's no way.
That's what I'm getting at. So by not having it as the main event, I think that what they might have been trying to do is throw the fans off to give a bigger element of surprise to the cash-in. Because if it was the main event, it was going to be much more likely that there was going to be a cash-in than it being not the main event. In mind, I'm again playing devil's advocate, just trying to justify it.
And dude, I don't know how these, as much as I try to understand when I hear the internet wrestling community folks talk about the ratings and hour to hour and what's important and what's not. I just something like that, I would imagine they'd want to, like, to get additional viewership, they'd want to make it more of a big deal and to draw attention to it. I mean, I don't know, maybe they thought that Sammy and Jay being on there was going to be enough.
Mm-hmm.
And with that story, I don't know. But or the fact that it was the first 3 hour one that was going to be enough in and of itself. But
yeah. Well, congratulations to Tiffy. We have a new champion.
Oh, yes, and
we'll
I can't wait
how long they let her have the title for. But
her versus Charlotte, WrestleMania, and we can go back and run the tape. I said that a long time ago, and it is happening.
Book it.
It's happening.
It's going to happen. I agree with you. I think it is going to happen. But one thing that we know happened was our very first streaming Monday Night Raw. The WWE ended their partnership for Monday Night Raw with the USA Network, and now they are on Netflix. Couple things. I just want to talk about Netflix as a platform. They struggled with football. When they had the football game, there was buffering issues. Was it football? What did they have where they had buffering issues and everyone was complaining? No, it was before football. It was like Logan Paul versus Mike Tyson.
I'm sorry, Jake Paul.
Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Oh, that was horrible.
It was horrible, and there was concerns. The NFL was concerned. I'm sure the WWE was concerned because they are stepping into a realm that they are not accustomed to. But the one thing that I know that Netflix will do is they will throw money at anything. I still don't quite understand how they exist, because they put in, like, they make all these shows and they produce them themselves, and they spend like $200 million to produce these shows that don't actually bring in new viewers. So I don't get it. Like the Crown.
13 Reasons Why season 3.
Yeah. Like I don't get these things, but I don't need to. But the one thing that I'm sure most people with Netflix are not accustomed to is we get commercials now. We've got commercials with Monday Night Raw. But the one thing I can tell you is that when you rewatch them, you don't have to watch the commercials. I was very surprised by that. I did not watch it live, even though I proclaimed that I was going to. I didn't do it. I watched it today, and I could fast forward. I could fast forward through the commercials. I was surprised by that. I did not think I'd be able to do that. I thought they would force me to watch the commercials. So that is a +1 for Netflix. A +2 is I can actually watch wrestling again because now they post it right after it's over, which was something I've been complaining about when they lost their partnership with Hulu to play it the next day. So now I can watch Raw at least, and I can watch SmackDown and NXT. I just got to work a little harder to do it. But I thought that they fixed the buffering issues, or at least I didn't have any, or at least I didn't have any in the replay. I don't know how it was live, but I didn't have any issues rewatching it.
I started it. I started it live, and there was no buffering, none of that. At no point when I was watching it yesterday, there was no buffering from what I saw, and from what I've seen today, when I continued to watch, there were, I mean, granted, I'm assuming they fix everything like for replay, but no issues whatsoever, at least on mine.
Good. Because obviously nobody's going to want to watch a 3-hour program if it's going to be buffering. Secondly, 3 hours. And I use the term 3 hours loosely because it was 3.5 hours. Man, it's a long show. I don't know how often they're going to do it. I know that right before they were talking about there's no real time for how long Raw is going to be, and we're going to be real loose with it. I hope it's loose short, not loose long, because I'd much rather. I mean, if you're going to give me a 3-hour show, give me a 2-hour and 50-minute show, not a 3-hour and 15-minute show. But it's a lot of wrestling. Third point, and I'm putting all the wrestling aside for a second. The ring looked ludicrous. 9 sponsorships, I think. Maybe 10.
I didn't realize it was that many.
Yeah, Hogan's Beer.
Uh-huh.
Fortnite was the one that got center booking.
Visit Rhodea or Visit Saudi Arabia, that one.
Yeah,
that one was in there.
Yeah. There are more. I was trying
Prime,
not to look.
Was Prime not in there?
It had to have been because Logan was there, and apparently he's not retired. But Logan's there.
We'll touch on that too, because I was very surprised by that announcement.
So was I. Anyways, we got that. They are going into their partnership with TKO. They're just going right into it because they are clearly a UFC product. Down to the referee. Gone is the black and white referee shirt. In is a dark gray UFC referee shirt. I guess they normally wear black, but regardless of the fact, it's a solid color. And from a nostalgia standpoint, I do not like it. I don't like it. You're not UFC. You're different than UFC. You're a completely different product. Please do not try to take things from them that don't necessarily matter. Like, I've never once said, oh, I like that referee shirt in UFC. The WWE should do it. No. That shirt that they're wearing now, it doesn't distinguish them enough from the wrestler, from somebody else. I need that distinguishing factor. When I get a referee who's been knocked out running down the ramp, I'm not going to know it's a referee. If he's wearing, I barely knew it was a referee when it happened in the show. I barely knew.
Yeah.
So it bothered me. It irked me. Might have been just me. I don't know. But what were your thoughts on the ring, and what were your thoughts on the ref not wearing a black and white striped shirt?
I mean, dude, the sponsorship thing has been slowly but surely happening. And at this point, with the partnership with TKO and everything, the sponsorship thing doesn't surprise me. I don't really care for it, but it is what it is when you're making $5 billion deals or whatever you're doing to air something. I mean, things are probably going to end up chinging.
Got to make it back somehow.
Same with the like referee stuff. Yeah, I'll always be partial to the the black and white. But again, I'm sure there's people who will always prefer the blue shirt and the bow tie.
I forgot about that. I like that too.
From the old days. So I mean, it just just personal preference, I guess. But yeah, I mean, do I really care for it? No, but does it surprise me that some of the stuff is going to try and mimic boxing or other combat sports? No, it doesn't surprise me. But yeah, there was a lot of sponsorships in there, man.
Yeah. But all in all, I thought that that was a good presentation. I thought that the lighting was good. The camera work was good, as it's always going to be. No issues with any of that. I thought that was a good, well laid out product. And I thought it was a good show. I thought the wrestling was top notch. I thought that the appearances, for the most part, were well done. I thought that Netflix, I'll give them an A for episode 1. I'm going to give them an A. I don't necessarily have I don't have a lot of qualms. I'm always going to have some, but I don't have as many as I normally would. So kudos on them. But let's talk about the in-ring product a little bit. Well, yeah, not necessarily the wrestling, just what happened on the show. It kicked off with Dwayne The Rock Johnson coming out, and he gave us his patented to show his goosebumps, and I could definitely see his goosebumps.
Yeah.
They were very prominent this time around. I don't know if I've ever actually seen them before, but this time around they were.
Well, I've seen them most of the time when he does them. But
yeah,
definitely last night though, for sure.
Yeah, he came out. Did he forget that he was a heel?
Remember what we talked about earlier with the bait and switch? I think this is a long-term bait and switch that I don't see a world of wrestling where it's not him versus Cody or him versus
Roman.
But just the way it ended with him and just kind of that little look he was given when he was looking at him, when he shook his hand, and I was sitting there, my kid's like, he's gonna get him, he's gonna get him, and when he did it, I was like, okay, they're playing another long-term game here because they don't want to show their whole hand about what matches are happening at WrestleMania. They don't want to do that yet. But that may not be the case. The thing I've been hearing a lot lately is that it's going to be Roman versus Punk is going to be one of the main events. I've been hearing that or reading that, and I don't know if I agree with that, but I think Punk is going to get one of the main events, but I just don't. I think Rock versus Roman, if that's the match, has to be one of the main events. It has to be.
Of course.
But I think, and I don't know if it's going to be Cody versus John Cena. I don't know if it's going to be Cody versus Randy Orton. But I think, but they're in a dilemma there too. It's like, okay, Cody has been your ambassador and the most popular guy. Do you not give him the main event again? Or is it going to be Punk versus Cody? In terms of most logical for who's the most popular right now, Punk versus Cody main eventing one night and Roman versus Rock main eventing the next night is the most logical to me.
Yeah, so obviously this can't be the end of Seth versus CM Punk. That was not a feud-ending match. You don't just have a one in the WWE and just call it a day.
Unless, I don't know, man. I just don't. Do they really give those two after they just had? If they would have had them doing something else leading to another match or leading to that being the first match at Mania, if they could have put that off a little bit longer, I'd say yes, that has enough star power and the newness of and wanting to see it of being main event at Mania worthy. But now, since they've already done it, and Punk won clean, they had him win clean, and so I don't see that being the main event of Mania anymore. I don't. But it's one of those things where, hey, last year it was penciled in. It was going to be those two main event in the first night, but Rollins still got to main event the first night. He got his WrestleMania main event, and he had one of the greatest WrestleMania moments in history when the cash in and on Brock and Roman when the heist of the century.
Mm-hmm.
So he's had his main events, but in terms of the way they did that match, I was very surprised. I did not think it was going to be that way. I thought there was going to be something that was definitely going to lead to like either Punk or either Rollins cheating or something underhanded, leading to Punk fighting and like having to maybe lose to Rollins again and then finally overcoming him at Mania. But with the way they did that, I just don't see those two feuding into WrestleMania.
Yeah, but I just don't see it ending that abruptly.
It may not, but
There's no
I just
closure. Well, since we're here, might as well work our way backwards. Because that's probably how they should have put the card anyway. Let Roman main event everything he's ever in. But so we got CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, and the winner was CM Punk. Let me tell you my issues with this match. First, I'll tell you I liked it. Second, I'll tell you I hated it. So, what I hated about it, how many GTSs did CM Punk kick out of? Like 3?
He kicked out of his own move that many times?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay. He didn't lose to his move 3 times. He rolled out of the ring one of the times.
Yes, I know he rolled out.
He kicked out once.
Yeah, but one of them wasn't it like the old delayed pin?
Yeah.
And
but
then there was
the third one was a legit kick out though. And then
was it a stomp or a GTS where he put his foot up on the rope?
I thought that was a GTS.
Okay. Because I remember one. Okay, maybe that was the delayed pin.
Yeah, and then there was CM Punk kicking out of a pedigree.
Dude, that move has been so devalued. That
I just don't know why CM Punk would allow him to get hit with that many GTSs and get kicked out. Because it's his move. He's devaluing his own move by letting Seth Rollins do that.
No, they'll probably just be like, "Oh, you can't do it like I can."
Do it right.
Yeah. But and then
like when Roman said, "See, I knew that move sucked."
That was great. But dude, that's the same with the stomp. That move, the amount
he kicked out
of
the
people,
stomp.
but the amount of people who've been how many times did Drew McIntyre kick out of that move? That whole thing was still bothersome the way they did that. They didn't have to do it like that, but
yeah.
It's fine. Some people really enjoy all those false finishes and all that. And hey, I know, especially at a live scene, the crowd, and freaking out and all that. But again, if it doesn't, the main thing, and I agree with you. We've talked about this so much with the finishers getting kicked out of, which we will also touch on that when we get to Roman and Solo. But
oh yes, we will.
But the thing that surprised me the most about this was it was a clean win, a decisive win, and nothing. I thought for sure there was going to be some type of shenanigans or Rollins hitting a low blow or doing something, and it never happened.
Yeah,
and Punk didn't go heel or any of that stuff. None of that happened. Becky Lynch didn't come out and AJ Lee didn't come out to confront her. No shenanigans like that happened. It was just they had it a straight up. It was a very good wrestling match. And yeah, but with the way they had that end and their first encounter, I just don't see them being able to ride that all the way to WrestleMania. I just don't.
We'll learn a lot on the 13th at the next Raw. We'll learn a lot about what way they're going to go. I'm pretty sure that after that Raw, we'll know whether or not they're going to try to stretch this out or not. See
is
what
the
promo.
Royal Rumble 2 days this year, or is it just the one? It's just one still, isn't it?
I think it's the last year of one, I think.
Okay, because I was going to say I could see them having another match at the Royal Rumble, but the way they did that, I'd imagine they'd have Punk win again.
They could always have Punk win the Rumble.
We can get to all that later.
Or John Cena.
Yeah, if you don't go to Sleepyland. But I think there's realistically only 5 people that are going to win. If only 5 people have a legitimate chance of winning the Royal Rumble.
And they are?
Punk, Roman, Rock, Cena, Randy Orton.
I don't think Roman is realistically going to win it. I don't think Randy's going to win it either. Randy won it 2 years ago, didn't he?
Was it 2?
Three.
I'm just
Because I
thinking
guess
of
Cody won
potential
back-to-back. So
storylines.
I think
Because they
that
still have him. If Randy doesn't win, well, Grant, never mind. I'm still holding out. I'm still holding on to that my prediction for the 5 people that could win it. But
also
just
Randy won 8 years ago. It just feels like it was too.
but just the way they've held off on bringing Randy back, I'm thinking they may. And with it being Cody versus KO at the Rumble, if it's not Cody versus Randy at WrestleMania, if Randy doesn't turn on Cody, then it's going to be Randy versus KO at WrestleMania, which that would be I'd be perfectly fine with that. That'd be a great match to kick off one of the 2 days.
Yeah.
So we shall see. But those are the 5 that I think. But the longer and longer they delay Orton coming back, I think the more it leans into it being Randy versus KO.
Yeah.
In Mania. But I think at some point they've got to run Cody versus Randy. They've got to do that. I mean that's easy to book, easy to get people invested in, and Orton's a great heel.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But
let's work our way back on this card. So we started off with the main event. Let's work our way off to Hulk Hogan coming out. Boy, the fans did not like Hulk Hogan. I think that the one thing that Hogan didn't bargain for, and good thing for him for suing Gawker. I don't know how much money he got, but he must have forgotten that people don't realize that watching wrestling is not a race thing. It's a socioeconomic thing. And half the fans are black and half the fans are white. And when you alienate half of the fan base by essentially saying you don't like black people, you're going to get booed. It's going to happen.
And then too, like, again, when because they leaked a few days in advance what sponsors were featured on the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta be honest with you, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was satire. When I saw that his beer was on there, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then when I saw Raw last night, I was like, all right, that wasn't
not satire.
And I understand it's the first Raw on Netflix. But again, just the failure to read what part of the country you're in.
Yeah. Oh, one of the more liberal places in the United States, and you're going to bring in Hogan, the conservative king. You got to know better.
Yes, and it's not like where, even if it was at Madison Square Garden, yeah, you've got New York, has, a lot of Republicans and like right-leaning people and all that there. Even there in New York City would have gotten a much more favorable reaction, in my opinion.
For sure. And with WWE's history at MSG.
I just thought that was really, really, really strange.
It was a miscalculation for Triple H.
No, but I just don't know how. How did they not? How can you not think that might happen? Just listen to the less than favorable reactions he's been getting over the years.
Yeah.
And it's like, because this day and age, kayfabe's been dead and gone a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. It's not like you can differentiate anymore. Like, oh, well, that's the character Hulk Hogan. Because it's like, yeah, we can look back and think fondly of, watching Hogan matches as kids and this and that. But it's like, and then black and white NWO Hollywood Hogan. But then it's like, yeah, once that stuff comes out and it's out for everybody to hear, and then when you hear about, and then not only that, I think just what was said backstage about how he came across as very less than genuine when he apologized.
Apologize, yeah.
Yeah, almost like he. If I'm remembering this correctly, he
He
was
did something with the
basically.
New Day, if I recall. Like he apologized to like Big E, but it was
Well,
like
I thought that the issue that they had was that he was more like going off about and upset about not knowing he was being recorded. It's like,
yeah,
hey, is that really the biggest issue you think is the biggest issue here?
yeah.
And but I mean, but I think if he would have just said, "Hey, I know what I said, believe it or not, that's not my personal feelings, whether they are his or not. I don't know. I don't know the man personally. He said what he said. He can't take it back. It's there on recording. There's a huge lawsuit over it. But if he just would have come out and owned it, be like, hey, I said it. I'm sorry. I can't take it back. I'm asking y'all to
I
forgive
don't think
me
that's
and
something you
let
can
me back.
apologize for, though.
But you have no.
Like what I think that what he
You
should have done
you
was
have to
say,
try. If
yeah,
you're
but
in his position wanting to come back to the company, which he obviously did, because if he didn't, when they blackballed him, he wouldn't have tried to come back.
what he should have done was hired a better PR team, apologize, but in that apology say, hey, I'm going to some sort of counseling or some sort of therapy to help with these issues because it's completely unacceptable the way that I treated what I said to my daughter or whatever, like something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. And I agree. Like just saying, I'm sorry, that's not going to make it better. But I'm not saying that at all. But just from what it sounds like, the way he apologized certainly did not help anything.
Hey, he apologized for the wrong thing. It wasn't, oh, I'm sorry for saying this. I'm sorry I got caught.
Sorry.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it
But
is what it is. Hogan's a piece of crap, but you can hate the artist, love the art. It is what it is. I wasn't
yeah.
booing him. I wasn't cheering him either. I was actually laughing when he ripped off a shirt to have another shirt under it. I found that to be hilarious.
But dude,
The Raw is Netflix shirt. Awful shirt, by the way. But
I am shocked they, especially in light of what they had to overcome with ousting Vince McMahon and all of that stuff. And then you're going to have Hulk Hogan's beer. And
yeah,
I don't know. I think me and you both, like growing up as kids, will always have fond memories of that character.
yeah.
But again,
But Terry Bollea, piece of crap.
But again, yes, with all that being dead and the age of the internet, all that out in the open, you can't separate that anymore.
It's tougher. It's definitely tougher.
Yeah, and
I don't know. I'd probably still smile if Vince McMahon was on the TV again.
well,
Being 100% honest, I can tell you right now, if I heard Chris Benoit's music go off, I'd pop. I'd pop so hard.
Well, folks, for those of you watching, I know there's going to be one less of you, so we'll be down to 3.
Don't worry, our 4 viewers don't even know that we're back. So.
And we probably just lost your dad too. So.
No more lies in the comments from him. All right.
Tell the truth that we suck.
All right. Long live Vince. All right, let's move on. Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre, since we're going backwards. This match was plagued with some of the same issues that the main event was. We're just having Jey Uso kick out of Claymores now. I don't think as highly about Jey Uso as a lot of people do. He's not my favorite. I don't like his moveset. I like him. I like him as a character. I like him from the way he's portrayed as a person. I like all those things. But in the ring, can we just get the Usos back? I don't need singles competition anymore. I don't need it from him. But putting all that aside for a second, he should not be kicking out of Claymores. His character is not one that is built to kick out of Claymores. It's similar to people like Sami Zayn kicking out of everything he did at WrestleMania against Gunther.
Do you have to bring that?
Memories. I don't get it. It just doesn't fit his character to be doing what he was doing. The match was good. It was a good match, but these are match killers. I think that the problem is that these wrestlers are not developing their secondary moves. They're not developing their signature moves enough, so they're being forced to use their finishers as almost a move to set up a finisher. And that's a problem.
And I get into the entrance, just like most everybody else does. It's very, very catchy. I enjoy it. And seeing McAfee and Michael Cole doing that is amazing. But my kids love it. But I agree. I like him. I love when guys like that know how to feed off of the crowd and him and his brother were great as a heel tag team, and he's great as a face. He's great as a face. He knows how to with the big feud with Roman, and then that like now away from that on his own, and now he's back to interactions with his brother and Sammy and Roman have all been great too. But just something like that, I agree with like the kicking out and all that stuff. It's like, and I'm not saying each and every one of these guys can whip my ass, but it's like something like that. You walk into a bar and you see Drew McIntyre sitting over there pounding beers and giving you the side eye, like shit. It's like
6'8", 270.
Yeah,
a solid man. Like he's built like a truck, and we're out here supposed to believe that he's putting the beating on Jey Uso. He's Claymore kicking, and then he's just kicking out. No, I'm not believing that.
But then it's one of those things too. I know that the Usos come from like a strong, tough bloodline of tough individuals, and I get all that. But still, just when you got a guy like Drew McIntyre beating the crap out of you, I know we're supposed to suspend disbelief and all that, but it's like, but I don't like people kicking out of that move. I don't.
No.
I don't like
consistently kicking out of the move.
Oh yeah, no.
Baron Corbin, to his credit, he did everything he could to protect his finishing move. It was kicked out of once in his tenure in the WWE. If he did that move, there was not a doubt in anyone's mind that he was going to win. And that's the way it should be with everyone's finishing move. When The Undertaker was young, if he did the tombstone, you lost.
Yes.
You lost. The move got bastardized by the time that he got older, but when he was young in the 90s, you were not kicking out of a tombstone pile driver. You were not kicking out of a Stone Cold Stunner unless your name was The Rock.
Dude, that whole thing with how many times that move's been kicked out of now, the Stunner with KO doing it, that really, really bothers me.
The one thing I will say about that is that his Stunner is 10,000 times different than Stone Cold Stunner. The kick to the gut, the kick to the gut was integral to that move. When we would play in the open space near our house, we weren't doing the Stunner unless we're kicking you in the gut first, because that knocks all the wind out. So now I can't breathe. Then I'm stunned. We'll get to that in a second, because that was kicked out of. But we'll get to that in a second. I enjoyed the match. I thought it was a good match. It's just the same thing that frustrated me throughout the entire card. It was just the finishers and kicking out of the finishers. It just seemed much more prominent on this Raw card than normal for a Raw, because it's not like this was not a pay-per-view as much as they wanted us to believe that it was, or PLE as much as they want us to believe that it was. This was a Raw, and in most Raws there aren't that many kickouts of finishing moves because it's a Raw. So people apparently get stronger on most weekends for PLEs because their ability to kick out of a finishing move becomes much easier. But good match. It had its issues. So yeah.
I don't like that. This can't be done. This feud cannot be done. They can't be having Drew. They have to. They need.
Oh, did he lose from a roll up in this match? How did he lose?
I don't know. This is one of the ones that I have not had the chance to watch yet. I just saw the results, and I don't recall.
Yeah, it was a crucifix pin.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I think Drew McIntyre needs to. They need to.
Oh no, okay. Yeah, I remember. No, this isn't over because Drew had the look on his face of like, "How could this happen to me?" with your crucifix pin. So it was clear that he's mad. He's going to be mad because it was essentially a stronger roll up. He's going to be pissed. So no, this isn't over. This isn't over.
Because I really like Drew McIntyre and the work he has done with the company and for the company and just mic work, everything. And I know they already rewarded him with the lucrative new contract and all that stuff. I get that, but they just need to do right by that character. They had Punk go over, and they had him. Jay got the better of him on the Netflix premiere. They need to circle back, but after seeing the way they treated Nakamura, and then having him when they repackaged him and the darker character and almost immediately win a title, I have hopes that even when they do wrong by characters, even if it's on a long-term basis, that they'll remedy that. And so
I care about you. Yeah.
And so I just hope that post WrestleMania season they can get him back into title. They get him back into title contention storyline and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So before we go to the next match, speaking of title, I think it is a shame that your brand's champion did not have a match on this debut. That's unacceptable to me. I do not like that. And also, along with that, I hope they never do this Gunther being unsure of himself storyline again. That does not fit with the character. That was not good at all. And I think the way that triple threat match ended and the way he carried himself, like the same great wrestling that he puts on, I hope they realize what a dumb mistake that was and how you've got a character that he's getting cheered for the quality matches he's putting on. And the character work he's doing. He's an arrogant heel. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, what are y'all doing? I mean, he's an old school heel. Keep it that way.
Yeah.
But the fact that he wasn't, now was he there?
No. They had a video package for him, so they had like a vignette, or not a vignette. He cut some like videotape promo, but I don't believe he was there.
What did he say? Was it a heel promo?
Yeah.
Okay. Because remember at the one of the announcements for the Netflix stuff, he like cut a promo on how he was gonna wipe the smirk off of Logan Paul's face, and I was like, man, I don't think I'm ready for him to be full face. And but anyways,
he's the best heel they have. I don't know if they realize that his promo work. I still think about him saying Goldberg is his favorite wrestler. Like that's one of the best things a person's ever said on a WWE mic.
And I think I saw something where
who's a better heel?
Drew McIntyre currently, I think, or they're the top two. I'd say those two. I think those two in Kaiser on Raw.
Is Drew McIntyre even really a heel, or is he just a mercenary? Like
he's delusional and thinks that all these things are conspiring against him, and he doesn't.
I don't really think of him as a heel though, because he doesn't have any in-ring heel tactics. I guess now he's Gunther.
He's not like a Gunther heel. He's the heel that knows all the problems that have come his way or of his own doing. He just doesn't want to admit it. He's that type of heel. And you got to have one of those.
I just don't think he's a heel. Does anyone ever boo him?
If he's facing the right person, yeah, I think.
I don't know.
But you can't really say, okay, if in that regard, you can't, they're cheering Gunther. They've been cheering Gunther because he's so good.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I just don't feel like he's looking for boos. Gunther's looking for boos. They're just not booing him.
Yeah. Dude, hey, did you notice, and I know we haven't got to Cena yet, but when Cena said Gunther, did you notice like that got a split reaction? There was a pretty good number of people in the crowd who were cheering for that to be one of his matches.
It'll be. I mean, he's going to wrestle everybody.
I'm very curious to see that. I'm excited, man. There's so many. different ways it could go. It's not like in years past where you see the end game from a mile away.
Yeah.
And for Mania, like now there's plenty of different options, but
we don't know where they're going to go with that, but we'll get to that in a second. First, let's talk about Logan Paul. So Logan Paul has indicated that he's not done. He had retired informally, but just like that, they pulled me back in. So they pulled him back in. He is back in the WWE. He has said that he is going to give it 100%, and that it was just his side gig before. Now it's his main chick. I don't believe that, just based off of everything that he has on his plate. I don't come close to believing that, but I'm happy to see him back because I think that he's an asset in doses. He's someone who I could see if you oversaturate it, he might not be as good. But his in-ring work, it seems like he works hard. He's got very good high spots. All of his matches were good. They were good matches.
Yes.
I never watched a match of his and didn't enjoy it. So
yeah, neither have I.
So I think this is a plus for the company. I think it's a plus.
And no, just the fact that he puts in the effort, regardless of what you think of him as antics or some of this crypto stuff, whatever some of these recent scandals are with his side gigs. The fact is, he had an opportunity to come in, and he took it seriously. That's very apparent. He took it very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, yeah, they trust him enough to, I'm sorry, you don't, at least I don't think you run the risk of him screwing up against your cash cow and Roman Reigns in the main event in Saudi Arabia unless you trust him.
Yeah.
I mean, because I know you could argue, oh, well, viewers and this and that. It's like, okay, well, if he was like, if he just didn't know what he was doing or wasn't putting in the work, they would not have put him in that match and run the risk of him hurting their top guy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I agree. So welcome back, Logan. We'll see how often you appear on television. We'll see if it actually is your main gig, because if it is, then you'll be a consistent participant on either Raw or SmackDown. But
I love his entry with the drums and the screaming falcon or the eagle. Whatever.
Oh, he's good. He's good. All right. Women's World Championship match: Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley.
I like this.
Man, Ripley is. I like what she does in the ring. She has the complete package. She has everything you could ever want. She has the look. She has the size. She has the body. She has the promo. She has the in-ring. You can't ask for anything else. She's got the personality. You can tell that when she's off camera that she cares about the fans. Right. She seems personable. She's funny. She has everything that you could want in a women's superstar. Becky Lynch, she doesn't have the size. Charlotte Flair, Charlotte's got everything. There are other girls that have. Bianca Belair doesn't necessarily have the personality or the promo work, but obviously her in-ring ability. No, stop it.
No, I wasn't gonna say. Yes, she's not the best promo in the world, but personality, she's got that in spades, dude.
Yeah, okay, you're right. She's got personality. She doesn't show. I don't think that she shows it as well as she could on screen. Off screen, I think she does a very good job of showing off her personality, but that's neither here nor there. Ripley is a future Hall of Famer. She's great. I love her. They put on a good match. Liv had a good title reign, 220 something days. Not bad, not too shabby for somebody who shouldn't have a title. So good for her.
I think I gotta say, and maybe it's just because of who was so prominently featured before she was. But once I got to see her and the character work and everything going on, I really enjoyed seeing her in that role. I think it suited that character very well, like the heel trying to get away from Rhea, but then it came to the point like, hey, she took her head on. And excuse me, and I know we talk about kicking out of finishers. I like that. To me, in something like this, in the blow-off match. I don't have a problem with the champion kicking out on a limited basis of a finisher. I did not mind her kicking out of the first Riptide. I think that's a testament to, okay, hey, she's done well in this role through people being injured or taking hiatuses and this and that. You know, she was great on TV, the stuff with Dom and all that. She did very good in-ring work. Hey, we're going to let you kick out of this move. You know,
kicking out of a move is not a reward. I have to go to a believability standpoint.
But they've been doing that ever since they protected finishers. They would have in the big profile matches, they would have like the rare kick out. And it wasn't like 50 times like some of these other matches we've seen. Like I said, in a limited, okay, maybe not a reward, but like some people, I'm like, why are they letting that person kick out of the move?
Well, here's my issue.
I don't have an issue with her kicking out of it with the way that feud has been.
I do. Here's what should have happened. Ripley shouldn't have done it. That's my mindset. She should not have done the Riptide until it's time for her to win. She won the match. Do the Riptide to win the match. One time. Don't do it again. Only do it one time. It's not a reward. Ripley would destroy Liv in real life. Liv is like 5'1", 150 pounds. Ripley is a bodybuilder who, I don't know how tall she is because the women are deceptively shorter than they actually are in real life. Because to me, she looks like she's like 6'4", but I think she's like 5'9". But she's built. She's built. She's a built woman. There is no world where if she didn't want to kill Liv, she couldn't. She could kill Liv whenever she wants to. And Liv should not be in the same world as Ripley. Just, it boggles my mind that I have to suspend disbelief altogether. There are some people who I think should never have a title. I don't think that Liv should ever have a title. I don't think that Alexa Bliss, I know you love Alexa Bliss, I don't think she should ever have a title. I don't think that Becky Lynch should ever have a title. These are people who, they're just too skinny, too small, too skinny. Can't win.
Liv is not too skinny. Stop that.
She's a little thicker, but she's like,
stop it.
She might be 4'2". I don't know how tall she is.
Stop it. Okay, I'm looking this up right now.
Liv Morgan, 3'7", 110, 5'5". Do you know how small 5'5" is? It's small.
My app says
Ripley's was only 5'7". I promise you, she's 6 feet tall.
Okay, but hold on. Let's going back to. But sometimes, if the character work fits with the wrestling ability, I don't have a problem with like undersized people having the title. I think it fit this character, and especially with Rhea being on the shelf, it fit perfectly. And I think, yeah, you could argue it drug on a little too long, but in the grand scheme, I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed everything about it, the way it ended. I enjoyed it. And if we're going to get upset about kicking out of finishers, I was a lot more upset about Oblivion on a chair getting kicked out of.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's another move. When your head goes into the canvas, you shouldn't be kicking out of that move.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be kicking out of that move to begin with. From, reality, like your face getting smashed into the floor. But a lot of it is that character work. Alexa Bliss, yes, she will always be one of my all-time favorites. But that character work, and she is still one of my favorite heels.
She's a great heel.
Male or female. But it's also fun, even when you know it's going to happen. When you see that heel, it makes it that much sweeter when that heel loses. It was that much sweeter when Liv got hers last night. Just like it was when Alexa had that great entrance at Mania on the elevated platform, and then Nia destroyed her, which is what should have happened.
Yeah.
And so I think when they do stuff like that, it makes it that much sweeter because of the good character work. And we can go back and forth on kicking out of finishers and this and that, but at least it wasn't Riptide on a chair they got kicked out of.
That's true.
But that's true. I like But I like the way it ended. It's like, okay, she kicked out of this the first time, do Riptide, do it again, be done with it. And again, a regular Riptide getting kicked out of, dude, come on. We have seen a lot more egregious kickouts than that.
That's true, but you've got like Stockholm syndrome over there. Like you've seen so many people kicking out of moves that you're just now justifying, like, oh, it's okay because it happens every other match. No, it shouldn't happen in any match.
No. I'm saying historically, regardless of what era it is, in some of these, especially the blow off matches of a long feud, you will see a finisher get kicked out of or in a submission case escape from.
I'm going to go back and watch every pay-per-view from the 90s.
No, go.
And I'm going to let you know that no finishers ever got kicked out of. Not a one. Nobody's ever kicked out of Hogan's leg drop ever in the 90s.
That is true.
Then the 90s never happened. Didn't happen until the 2000s. All right. Well, Dom wanted to make amends with Rhea Ripley after the match, extending his arms for a hug. And for a second, we thought, no, we didn't. No one ever thought it. But he got kicked in the nuts. He got kicked in the nuts and then riptided.
I got a great kick, and if you can hear that, that's my dog barking in the other room. When Dom was still selling the kick when she was setting up the riptide was amazing.
That's why he's the number one wrestler under 30.
Yeah, that's another. I love Dom, and he's getting better each time he's in the ring. But I don't know about number one on that list. Anyways, we're not going down that rabbit hole today.
He's number one. No, what we're going to do today is we're going to finish up with the opening match. Actually, no, we're going to talk about John Cena. We're going to talk about John Cena, then we'll talk about the opening match. John Cena came out, gave a speech where he said he's not going to win number 17. Or is he, is what he said. Which means
he most absolutely is going to win number 17.
Yeah. Is he going to win at the Rumble? Is he going to win an Elimination Chamber? He's going to get the Money in the Bank briefcase? I find it hard to believe they're going to let him win the Rumble. You don't think it's hard? You think it sounds like your dog thinks he might win the Rumble.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised that it took this long for this to happen.
Yeah. I don't see it. Maybe. Wade's wife is obviously torturing their dog, it sounds like. Well, he's whistling to us. Actually, he or she?
She.
That bitch.
He's here all night.
So when are we going to get our first Cena match? What do they say? January 27th? Someone say something about January 27th. Somebody mentioned a date.
Roman did, but that's like that was a shameless 2K plug.
Okay, 2K25.
When they closed the door, you're right. 2K25 plug was but I think his first time back in the ring is going to be when he goes into the Rumble, I believe.
Now, does Cena wrestle another match on a Raw or SmackDown?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay. How many more matches do you think he has in him? I'm going to say 12.
Okay, I was going to say 10, so I
think one 10, a month for the year.
10 on the low end, maybe up to 15, because if he does like the Saturday night special or whatever, and some stuff like that, maybe, and maybe Saudi Arabia event, some of that stuff. Well, no, we're including that, I guess, in the number, but 10 up to 15 is what I'm going with.
Gonna be sad to see Cena go. You know, you don't know what you got till it's gone. It just always seemed like, to me, it was abrupt that he just wasn't on television anymore. I feel the same way about Roman. Just kind of abrupt that he's rarely on television. You know, it used to be, oh, he's there every week. Then all of a sudden it's, he's there once every 2 months. And it's just, they don't give us any warning. It stinks. It stinks. You never know when someone's match is going to be their last full-time match. And, you know, some guys like Ric Flair, you know, they retire and they say they're doing certain things. But we never got that with Cena, I don't feel. He was just gone. It was just gone. And with him, it was especially jarring because obviously everyone's careers come to an end. You got to watch Stone Cold go away and The Rock go away. And a lot of these are abrupt. The Rock leaving, to me, felt abrupt. But with John Cena, he was such a constant for so long. You know, we remember the Attitude Era. Austin's career was short. The Rock's career as a full-time competitor was short. These guys' careers were not that long. John Cena was there every single day for 20 years. 20 years. The Undertaker had a long career. He's in that mold of John Cena. And, Shawn Michaels, he had an on-again, off-again career, but, he was with the Rockers for a long time. He was on TV for a long time. Some of these guys have really long careers, but
Triple H
had a very long career. He's another guy who's just
Kane.
I didn't know that was going to be the last match that we see him. And Kane, it's sad. It's sad because John Cena was at the top. He's a Mount Rushmore. You can say what you want. You probably booed him at some point in time, but no one boos John Cena anymore. People stopped booing John Cena like 5 years ago because they started to realize this guy, he's the company. And the same thing is happening to Roman. Roman's career is short. Roman's got a 10-year career where he was only on top for maybe like 5 or 6 of those years, 7 of those years. His career's over for all intents and purposes in my mind. He's not a full-time competitor anymore. He's no longer a full-time competitor in the WWE. So his career is done. So he had a short peak. John Cena had the longest peak outside of Hulk Hogan that I could think of.
You said Roman's career's done.
Yeah, his career's done. His full-time career's done. He's a part-time wrestler.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah, no, he's done. He's done. He probably has as many matches left in his career as John Cena does. He barely wrestles. He's not on TV. I never really didn't like Roman, but his career just. I didn't like the way he was booked. I never disliked Roman.
That's how I felt.
I never booed him. I never was going to boo him like he got booed out of Philly. I was not one of those people.
No, that whole thing again, and that's just when you see things coming from a mile away. Just the way that whole Rumble match was booked, they did that to themselves.
Yes, none of that's Roman's fault. None of that's Roman's fault.
Correct.
Nothing that he's ever done wrong. His suffering succotash, not his fault. Not his fault.
That is the greatest promo in wrestling history. But
yeah, not his fault. So he was a company man who did his job and did as he was told. Going back to John Cena, he's going to be missed. And when he comes back, because his end career might be done, but we're not done seeing him, he's still going to have to get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
We're not.
Well, we never saw him.
Seeing him.
But
man, that was bad.
Kudos to John Cena for never giving up, always hustling. He's one of the smartest competitors we've ever seen in WWE. He's, for all intents and purposes, a stand-up gentleman, which in a business like this, very tough to come by. So good on him. Let's
run down real quick. Who do you think some of his opponents are going to be?
Cody, The Rock.
That may or may not happen.
Probably not, but I'm gonna say it. You heard it here first. We're going to get one more. Was it? Once in a lifetime, and then twice in a lifetime. 3 times in a lifetime, we're going to get.
Now, it may not be. I could see like a multi-man tag match. I don't think it's going to be a one-on-one.
Okay, that's fair.
And I hope I don't know the extent of his injury, but I hope he's back in time. I got to see another AJ Styles Cena match.
Yeah, maybe.
If he's healthy, that's happening.
Yeah, you're probably right. Gunther.
Yes.
Seth. I think he's going to get Seth. Punk.
Maybe. That has to happen.
Drew.
Yes. I think all the names he mentioned are going to happen. Logan Paul is happening.
Logan.
Whether people want it or not, that's going to happen.
Roman.
You think they'll run that back again?
Once.
Dude, that is.
Well, I guess the question becomes: are they just going to have him have matches, or are they going to try to have build? If they're not going to try to have build, I think that it opens up a lot more doors. And I don't think there should be a build. I don't think he needs to have a build. I just think people want to see him fight.
Well, but the thing is, though, if they give him the title, if they put the title on him to have him break the record, then the question is going to be, who is going to get
Randy.
to take the title off of him?
Randy.
I'd be okay with that.
I think that his last match, he loses the title to Randy Orton at Survivor Series is what I'll go with. That's the last big pay-per-view.
Yes.
And I think that's his last match. Who else can he have the last match against other than Randy Orton?
I don't know.
He's the perfect person for him to have his last match against.
No, I agree. Unless I would be okay if he's in that character at the time. Somebody like I would be okay with McIntyre if he's still a heel.
Yeah. Also, Kevin Owens' first match was against John Cena.
Okay. Very true. Very true.
What's his face? Sami Zayn's first match was against John Cena when he tore his shoulder celebrating to start the match. So those are options. The one thing I can say is that their options are...
Why do I feel like there's somebody I'm just missing?
He could fight LA Knight. He could fight Austin Theory.
No, they already did that. I don't want to say
R-Truth.
Yes, I could see them doing now. This would be one of those on Raw or SmackDown or maybe a Saturday Night Main Event. I could see them doing him and Miz again.
Miz.
I'm going to add the Miz on there to my picks.
Okay.
I think that is happening.
Famous. I'm just trying to think of guys who revisit some things. Just revisit a couple things. The options are endless. I'm sure that whatever they do, it's going to be fun, and I'm here for it. And John, you will be missed.
You know what? I think I'm going to agree with you on The Rock, and I could see that being the last match, and that being the build to Rock versus Roman
at WrestleMania 43.
Yeah.
40.
If it doesn't happen this year, yes, I could see that.
Or 42?
No, that'd be 43. I think this is about to be 42.
Is it?
Maybe no. This is 40.
We just said 40, so this is 41. Yeah. So it'll be 42. Okay, we'll see what happens. Yeah. We will see what happens. But speaking of Roman Reigns, when I say speaking of Roman Reigns, I say that loosely because we barely talked about him. Roman Reigns versus the dead dog in the background versus Solo Sikoa.
Hello, I love you.
The Tribal Chief versus the OTC. This was my favorite match of the night, but that being said, it also was my most infuriating match of the night because along the theme that we have discussed throughout this entire podcast was finishers being kicked out of, and Roman Reigns took a top rope move from Jacob Fatu and then took a Samoan spike and then had no hesitation in kicking out of the finisher or kicking out of that.
I agree, Dottie. That's what we thought about it.
Yeah, Dottie knows. Dottie knows. There was a lot of things that were kicked out of, way too many. And I'm fine of kicking out. What is Roman's finisher anyway? Is it a spear? Is that what we're going with? Mm-hmm. I'll tell you this: when you play NBA 2K, not NBA. When you play WWE 2K24, his finisher is not the spear; it's his guillotine. But and I haven't seen him do that in years.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
but I like that one.
Yeah. Anyways, kicking out of a spear, for being honest, a Superman punch, and probably should get kicked out of. But it's not like football players who take spears on a daily basis are down for 3 seconds so someone can pin them. They're not. They get right back up. But anyways, I enjoyed this match. I thought that it was very good. I thought that everybody held their own. I thought that there were the appropriate shenanigans. It got a lot in there with the shenanigans, but I thought that everything made sense with the shenanigans. Speaking of which, we got The Undertaker came out for Rhea Ripley as well. They played the Undertaker music, but he came out on his bike, and then they changed to his American Badass theme song. So I'd be remiss if I did not tell everybody that The Undertaker was present on this
awesome.
edition of Monday Night Raw. But back to the match. Good match. We saw whoever's Tongaloa. Like I said, I've missed a lot of Raw because
Tongaloa, he's hurt.
Okay, all right.
He's hurt right now, I believe, and so that's why he's been off of TV for a while. But
okay, but we got Tama Tonga.
He was the first save. That dude, Jacob Fatu, man, that guy's awesome.
He's unbelievable the way he moves and what he can do, and he is just such a star. And they'll never make him. They will. This just the type of wrestler he is, they're never going to make him the type of star that he should be, which, okay, but they're making a mistake. Maybe he can main event. What do I know? They have a better eye for talent than I do. But I would think that he could main event some things with just his talent and moveset. But you know what? He does remind me a lot of Kevin Owens. And what I mean by that is Kevin Owens, when he first came in, Kevin Owens, when he started with WWE, is not the same Kevin Owens that we have now. Remember when Kevin Owens came in, his moveset was so diverse. He had so many different moves, and everything he did was like, whoa, that's incredible for a man of his size to be doing what he's doing. He was doing stuff off the top rope. He was doing all these suplexes and power bombs and things like that, where he blew my mind when he first came in. He's much more generic now, and I still love KO, but he's not anywhere near as creative as he was when he first started. But Jacob Fatu reminds me a little bit of Kevin Owens when he first came in. And, you know, they gave Kevin Owens some main event opportunities, and he still gets main event opportunities, but he never really felt like a main event guy. I think that's a little bit different with Jacob Fatu. He does have the feel like he could be. But if he stays in the role that he's in for his entire career, he'll be fine. He can... he just has a presence to him, and his moveset seems to be diverse too. I just like guys with a real diverse moveset where you don't know what they're going to do. One of the reasons why I like AJ Styles, his moveset is so just diverse. You never know what he's going to do. So, bottom line is Jacob Fatu is great. Solo did a good job. Roman, of course,
Solo has come such a long way, especially on the microphone since the great.
Malcolm in the Middle, when he was Stevie from Malcolm in the Middle,
They basically just let him be himself, dude, and he's great. He's great at it, and I think I'll add Jacob Fatu to the potential John Cena opponent list. I could see that.
That would be crazy, yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to the one-on-one with Roman and Jacob Fatu. That's going to be good. Whenever they decide to do that, they've done a good job of teasing it and the interactions, and the multi-man stuff, but they're purposely holding off on that singles match, and as they should, and because that's going to be fantastic. I love you, Solo.
They made Umaga a main event guy, and I'm not being racist like that, but I mean, they're family, so I'm just not. So they made him a MAGA main event guy. So there's no reason why they can't make Jacob Fatu a main event guy, because they have the same look, the same feel.
I love it. I think when you got guys like that, and Umaga had that was kind of in the era where I wasn't watching.
Same.
But
I've gone back and I've watched.
Umaga has the paint, right?
Yes.
See, the thing with Jacob Fatu, like, he's got that natural, like, just the facial expressions and everything, and the way he carries himself is just scares you.
Yeah.
Without paint, without masks, without any of that stuff, which is just this day and age, I think is so hard to do.
Yeah.
And just that guy's awesome, man. I love him. I love you.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. And even in a match that had Roman Reigns in it and had all those run-ins, he still found a way to shine. And that's what he does best. He's never somebody who's just in the background. You know he's there when he's there, because he's going to do something to help steal the show. So, good match. I can't wait for Roman versus Jacob Fatu as well. I think that we've got a little ways to go until we get that.
I agree.
I don't think it will be until after WrestleMania. I think there might be some shenanigans at WrestleMania that may help further that storyline, but it's a coming. It's a coming. Just a matter of not if, but when. But yeah, all in all, good show.
We got to talk about The Rock coming out at the end.
Or at the beginning.
Match.
Yeah. At the end of that match.
Yeah.
We got to talk about The Rock altogether. Rock came out. I still don't understand what The Rock's doing, but The Rock came out. Apparently, he's a babyface for now.
I think that is
at the very least, he's pretending. He's pretending to be a babyface. Whatever. What I don't understand is the interaction that he had with Cody, where Cody almost must have forgotten that they, the two of them were acting like they didn't just have a feud, where Rock literally tried to kill him and was talking about his blood being wiped all over his mom. That was just something that was completely forgotten by the WWE Universe.
He brought up Mama Rhodes.
He didn't bring it up in a... Yeah, and then Cody's over there like laughing. Oh, Brock, you tried to kill me and my family. You're good. You're good. It was absolutely ludicrous. But whatever. I don't want to get too much into that. Dottie thinks so too. It was absolutely ridiculous. His promo when he was talking to... Cody Rhodes, it made zero sense in the context of what happened 8 months earlier. But I'm not going to talk about that any longer. He came out. Him and Roman had a moment.
Roman, he put the hula follow on Roman.
Yeah. Yeah.
The tit stare down, which me and my kids thought the turn was going to happen, and it did not.
It didn't.
Not last night.
No.
I think it's coming. Yeah, I think it's coming too.
Yeah. Dottie thinks it's coming. Take her to the vet.
Yeah. She was fine.
Take her to the vet.
She did this last night.
No, take her to the vet.
She stopped.
No.
And she went to Sleepy Town.
But, yeah, Rock came out. We'll see how often we see him since this is his company and he owns it as a board of directors member. He's part of the ownership group. So, good to see The Rock. And, yeah, good show. Did you like the show?
Did. Very good. All that stuff we said, and they set up some other storylines with Raw moving forward. Looks like Chad Gable versus the incoming Penta El Zero is coming up.
One thing I forgot to mention, you just reminded me. They showed Kofi Kingston, and he shaved his mustache, and it's an interesting look to have his beard still there, but his mustache is gone. I love heel New Day. So,
yeah.
It's a full circle moment. People are forgetting.
Lamar sucked and LA was amazing.
Well, everyone's shocked, but what people are forgetting is the New Day was a heel stable. And the only reason why they became baby faces is because everyone hated their premise. And they had to work, and they worked, and they worked, and they worked, and they worked, and they're so hard. And they eventually made it work to the point where they became baby faces. They start off as a gospel trio.
Which was awesome.
New Day Rocks was when the choir was singing whoa 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 whoa. So people need to remember that. So them being heels, it works because they started as heels. But I don't want to talk about the New Day because this episode of the Golden Sweeps podcast has gone on long enough. So.
As Dottie agrees too.
Yeah.
And one more, the suits the Creed brothers had were incredible.
Yeah. 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 Good on them. Who was it? Fluffy? Is that who's in that segment? And then when Otis came out, he hit Otis's belly, which I found to be funny since,
And Topanga had a segment, which I will always love Topanga.
I must have missed that. When did Topanga come out?
Or maybe it was just an online thing, but they had something like an interaction. They showed her in the crowd, but then there was some interaction with some of them, with somebody. But yeah,
I must have missed that. I will be looking at that because I also enjoy me some Topanga. Many young boys' first crush was Topanga. I just in case my wife watches, I would neither confirm nor deny whether or not that was one of mine, but it was. But yeah, if you like what you heard in episode 46 of the Golden Squeeze podcast, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that bell icon so you're notified whenever we post, and we will see you on the next episode of haven't done this in a while. Let me make sure I still remember how to do it. Next episode of
viewers.
The Golden Squeeze podcast. Oh, yeah.